Hey everybody, welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I'm talking about the new comics that I picked up that came out on July 17th, 2019. We're in week 29, and I'm going to make this episode real quick because I'm going to head to the airport real soon to head out to Texas to see the Blue Devils for just a little bit. Yeah, I picked up so many comics this week. Oh my god. But a lot of them were variants. Like I'd say a third of the entire haul this week was variants of mostly Vampirella, because we got a new run of Vampirella started, and I got like all of the variant, not all of them because there's like a million, but all of the main ones that aren't like the 1 in 10 super rare, that's not super rare, but that kind of thing. But yeah, I was hoping to read all of the comics that I could, that I'm caught up on or are starting right away, but I fell short by 3. So I'm going to talk about the 3 that I could have read, and then I'm going to talk about all the ones that I did read, and then all the ones that I didn't read yet because I am a few issues behind. So first up, we have Vampirella, of this magazine format facsimile edition of the very, very first issue of Vampirella back from 1969, I believe. And this looks super cool. I thought it was just like a wide format, a magazine format of the new number 1. But no, it's a complete reproduction, which is awesome when they do this kind of stuff, because we also got that a number of years ago. They re-released issue number 1 of Mad Magazine, and that was really cool to pick up back then. Yeah, I'm excited to read that one. It's a little bit harder to schlep around since it is that magazine format, but yeah, that's super cool. The Orville New Beginnings Part 1 of 2. I love this TV show. I still haven't watched any of the second season, but if the comic is as good as the TV show, then it should be pretty good. And yeah, Usagi Yojimbo, Bunraku Part 2 of 3. I was saying when I read the first issue like that week, and I was super excited about the Bunraku stuff, so I'm still super excited about it. I just haven't gotten a chance to read it yet. And yeah, go look up some Bunraku stuff. Like there's the traditional Bunraku theater, but then there's the stuff that they've done more recently. They've used the puppetry style to do all kinds of really cool stuff. There's like a Pepsi ad that's really cool. There's a Bunraku Ping Pong where they are like manipulating the table and stuff. So it's like a live audience, but you're changing the camera angles for a live audience, which is super cool, and like slowing down time and things like that. But I don't know if any of that will have much to do with what's in Usagi Yojimbo, but I'm excited nonetheless. All right, these are the books that I did read. Going in order here, reverse order of how I read them. I did take some, not extensive notes, but a few notes for each of these books. We have, starting off with Silver Surfer Black number 2. I rated this book a 7 out of 10. I really like the art style, but the story, it's not like the most exciting. There's some weird stuff going on, but I'm not super excited. Actually, this is some pretty cool stuff. The Silver Surfer ends up going to like the symbiote planet and escapes from there, and then ends up getting some help from somebody who's kind of unexpected. But yeah, like the symbiote stuff, it's because the last issue is really like psychedelic type, and then with the symbiotes on this planet, it's all like really malleable, weird stuff. And Silver Surfer himself is so like, silvery liquid metal type that it's the visuals are just so cool. But this book is by Donny Cates and Tradmore. Colorist Dave Stewart, and letterer is VC's Clayton Cowles. So yeah, I am digging this book quite a bit. Like I said in the last episode, I rarely give things. I've only ever so often rated things less than a 7. This is because I'd use a 10-point scale because that's what the scale is on the app that I use. So when I read a book, I rate it, and then so I can kind of have a good idea of like how much I enjoyed it. Very infrequently have I ever rated anything less than a 7 anyway. So that's not to say this is bad. It's just to say that it's not my favorite thing. I still enjoyed it, and I feel like I've done a pretty good job of only getting books that I've enjoyed. So, yeah. Next up, we have Collapser number 1. This story is called Constellation Prize. This is about a guy named Liam James, and this book is super weird. It's part of the DC's Young Animal brand or imprint. The story is by Mikey Way and Sean Simon, with the script by Mikey and the art by Sean, I believe. No, never mind. Sorry. No, I skipped. That was the case for Donny Cates and Tradmore. The art is by Ilias Kyriazis. Colors by Chris Peter. Letters by Simon Boland. So this guy, Liam James, he's a black hole, whatever that means. It's so weird. It goes along with the other Young Animal books that I've been reading. That because the shade, the color, the shape shifting girl, the whatever color shifting. I don't know what the name of that book was, but that was really weird. And then of course Doom Patrol is super weird. And I've been wanting to read some of the other books that have been coming out on Young Animal. But I gave that book a 7 out of 10. Mostly because it's not weird in a way that has me super excited for it, if that makes sense. But you know, in the next few issues, as the story unfolds, it might get me more and more interested. Up next, we have Vampirella number 1. I rated this a 7 out of 10 because it was, I don't know, it didn't really capture my imagination a whole lot. It was kind of cool that it was about a plane crash. So you're seeing her looking back at the plane crash and like explaining it to her therapist, but the therapist doesn't believe that all actually happened, that anything that she's saying is actually real, and she's treating her like she's insane. So all that is pretty cool. Out of all there's so many covers for this one, and I'd say my favorite one is actually just the regular cover, which is the main cover is by Frank Cho. It's like just solid white with Vampirella there on a pose that wraps around front to back, and I think I did get that cover. Yes, it's right here. Yeah, that was just I just really like that one. It's nice and simple, straightforward, but all of them are pretty cool. Let's see, how many did I get? I got 4, 5. I got 5 of the Vampirella colors, so A through E. I think I got. The other ones are really cool too. There's one with there's like a guillotine there. They all have like that 50 symbol because it's 50th anniversary. So yeah, 69. And I don't know which number cover that one's pretty cool. She's like in a well that's filling with blood. It's crazy. But yeah, go check this out. It's pretty interesting. Up next, we have Wonder Woman Come Back to Me number 1. I give this one an 8 out of 10 because it's kind of bonkers. I don't know why I didn't even put together that this was going to happen. On the cover, you see her leading a troop of animals and firefighters out of wildfire. That's the main thing that happens in this book, and she talks to the animals and convinces them to help her get people out who have passed out and stuff like that. It's kind of crazy. But then while she's out doing that, Steve Rogers, it's not Steve Rogers. What's his last? I forget his last name. Oh my God. Steve. Chris Pine. He's gone missing in the Bermuda Triangle. So this story is in two parts. And like the first half, she's off doing that, and then I don't even remember how it split up, but Steve goes missing in the Bermuda Triangle. He's like testing a new like a nuclear powered jet engine or something, and she goes on the search for him, and there's some crazy stuff. We end on a cliffhanger with a giant tiger man who has all of these vehicles. He has like a tank as a bracelet, and around his neck is like a necklace with Steve's jet on there. And that's the last page of this issue. So I want to see what happens next, because this giant tiger guy looks pretty cool. This book is by Amanda Connor and Jimmy Palmiotti, the writers. The artist is Chad Hardin. The colors are by Alex Sinclair, and letters by Travis Lanham. So go check this out. It's pretty fun. It's got my highest rating out of what I've talked about so far. But I enjoyed the next book even more because it's so funny. It's not quite as funny as Wonder Twins, but it did have me laughing out loud. Just remembering some of the. There's one part where Superman is like. He's Clark Kent, and he's at the Daily Planet, and so he's like, somebody needs to keep Jimmy out of trouble. He's like, or you should try to keep Jimmy out of trouble. And Clark goes, I'll try, but that sounds like a job for Superman. And then he winks at the camera, and then and then she's like, okay, whatever. And he's still saying, the camera pulls out, and he's still winking at the camera, and she's like confused. That was really, really funny, and it worked. And it's on a page turn, like, oh, so good. But yeah, this book is so weird. He's like doing all kinds of stuff to make viral videos. He does a space jump, but he had just been injected with stem cells, which he thought was from Metamorpho. It was actually from this reptile man. I didn't write down the name of that thing, but he turns into a giant turtle while he's doing this space jump, and Superman has to. He doesn't stop him, but he redirects him enough so that he doesn't do a lot of he still does a lot of damage. And yeah, it's a whole problem with the Daily Planet. They're like, our insurance premiums are ridiculous because of you. And then somebody else is like, the IT guy, he's like, actually, well, with all the ad revenue from the viral videos, he's the only person who's making money, even counting for all these damages and things like that. But anyway, he gets reassigned, I think, to Gotham. Is it Gotham City? They don't say exactly what it is, but they don't say the name of the town. But it looks to me like it's Gotham City. But he's like in a really crappy part of town. But he said we should send him far, far away. Isn't Gotham City like right across the river from Metropolis? I don't know. But I'm excited to read more. It was really fun, and I rated it a 9 out of 10. Also, I really liked that there was like a new title page, like every few pages, like when a new character was like, oh, the story is taking a different direction now, and it's like Superman's problem, Jimmy Olsen. And before that, it had his ancestor, I think it was Josiah or something, Josiah Olsen, and it had a title page for him. And then it had another title page for when he gets relocated. I thought that was really cool. I enjoyed that quite a bit. This episode is going a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. Only two more to talk about that I read newly this week. Faithless number 4. It's the book by Brian Azzarello and Maria Levitt, and this continues the strange sex adventures with Faith and just going with this photographer that she meets, who is very clearly the devil, and how he keeps making awful things happen to the people around her. And it's some messed up stuff. There's like this crazy interview, like she's hired as a model there. I think it's as a model, but he's doing a photo shoot with her after they like hooked up right before that, and he like asks like super personal, like really mean things to her, and it makes her break down, and it's like for this photo shoot, and it's super messed up. It's really weird. And then her roommate, he like tries to make a move on her, and then he ends up like having this it's like this weird sperm like going into himself, like, and then there's like it's weird. It's so weird. And it kind of negates any possible like sexiness or eroticism of those scenes, like leading up to the weird stuff. So anyway, this book has been pretty cool. The erotica cover is by Jenny Frieson, and that cover is I feel like it's the best cover of the series so far. And then there's also a really weird cover that's like, it doesn't even look like it's from this book. It's so weird. It's the C cover, and I don't know what character that is. But it's kind of like a tarot card in a way, because there's like a big wolf thing, and it's by David Rubin is the artist for this cover. And I was trying to say, I forgot the name of that book again. It's like No One Left to Fight, I think is the name of the book. Like, I saw that cover and I thought it was that because of the pink, mostly the pink, because not a lot of books use that color scheme. It's the pink and the blue like combined. Anyway, Faithless. It's really cool. And then the last book that I read that came out this week is Blade Runner 2019 #1. It's about this character. I don't know if they ever say her name, but she's a detective, and she's looking for a missing wife and daughter. And the most notable thing from this issue, well, the cover is really cool. It's an art germ cover. You have her with a gun, and then her shadow is smoking a cigarette. That's pretty cool. But then there's a splash page inside where she's driving through the city, and it's just of the city, like it's an over the shoulder out into the city. I really like those two pages. But that one is written by Michael Green and Mike Johnson, art by Andres Guinaldo, colors by Marco Lesko, lettering by Jim Campbell, and the main cover is by Stanley Artgerm Lau. So yeah, that's cool. I'm looking forward to reading more of that. See if she finds out what happened to the missing people. And so let's go real quick through the books that I got that I have not read yet. And I'm a little bit behind on. We have Blossom 666 #5. I feel like I'm making my microphone peak a little bit here. I'll comment down a little bit. Captain Marvel issue #8. I like that cover. It has her like confronting someone who's reading a newspaper article about her. Captain Marvel, public enemy or people's advocate? King of the Kree. Then we have Deadpool #15. I was just thinking, because I organized a lot of my comics recently, I was trying to think, okay, what is when was the last time a Deadpool issue came out? And it was probably about a month ago, because then the new one came out. Same with Hot Shots #5. I am too far. I should just get caught up on this one. But oh man, this cover is so cool. Oh my god. With Domino, she's like an energy entity or something, and she's just floating. That's so super awesome. We have Fair Lady issue #4. I still haven't even read issue #1, but this looks like a weird. It's like a weird multi-eyed creature behind her. And then tentacle. That's bizarre. Like all of these books, all these covers are so cool and so weird. Jughead, The Hunger versus Vampironica, issue number 3. I haven't even started reading those yet, but I'll get to it soon. Same with Jughead's Time Police number 2. I don't know who is the character that's much more confident in what's happening there on the cover. They're on top of a spaceship, and I assume that's Jughead, who's very panicked, and then the redheaded character is very confident in what's happening. Is it maybe art? I haven't read the first issue, so maybe it's like a descendant of Archie Andrews. I don't know. Justice League number 28 at the variant cover here with the Trinity on there. Wonder Woman's front and center. Super awesome cover. Terry Dodster. What's his last name? Dodson? I don't know. This cover is great. I am hopeful the next round of Supergirl has a cover. The variant cover has Supergirl on it, and then the Superman issue that week, the variant has Crypto on there, and I think Supergirl is on there as well. So that kind of makes up for the year of the villain cover that does not have Supergirl on it. That I was pretty upset about in the last episode. The Life and Death of Toyo Harada, issue number 5. He's just there in a sea of people all reaching for him. That is terrifying. And it also reminds me of that moment from Supergirl that I talked about last week, where they were in a sea of creatures, and it proved to be not a problem at all. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen 2010 AD. This is issue number... Is this issue number 6, or is this a new thing? I don't know. The covers are so weird and interesting and different. I think this is issue number 6, but anyway, at some point I'll get to reading those. Sandman Universe Lucifer issue number 10. I'm very far behind on that. That cover is very cool with the different faces, the different David Bowie faces. I know it's not David Bowie, but Lucifer is inspired by David Bowie. And then tale 4 of 4 of the storyteller Sirens. So now I can actually go and read all 4 of these all together. That's what I was waiting for. And then Superior Spider-Man, number 9. Why I say Spider-Man? We love SSM. Superior Spider-Man. I was like, ooh, is that some type of fetish? I don't know. No, it's Superior Spider-Man. Turok issue number 4. This cover is cool. I like that. We got the Raptors. You got Turok. You got this other guy aiming a rifle right at his face. Energy portal behind it. That's cool. Uncanny X-Men number 22. All kinds of laser sights aiming right at Wolverine's head. And just one that's aimed at Cyclops' chin. So what's gonna happen there? All the bullets are gonna bounce off. It's gonna hurt a lot. And the Unstoppable Wasp issue number 10. She's giant. She's looming over the cityscape. I don't know what's going on there. So those are the books. Hopefully I can get caught up on a couple of those. I did get caught up on Dial H for Hero. That's another, it's kind of similar to Jimmy Olsen in a way that there's like a new title page, like whenever it's not the same reason for having a new title page, but having multiple title pages in there, and it's like in a different style, like for that whatever type of superhero they become when they dial H, and that's that. And the overall story, it's kind of scattered as far as what the heck's going on. Well, there's a solid through line, but as far as like, it doesn't seem like our main character, Miguel, I think is his name. It doesn't seem like he can catch a break at all. Like, he is not succeeding in any way. But yeah, I am enjoying that. And next up, I need to get caught up on Naomi. And then I'll get caught up on Young Justice, and then I'm saving the best for last, the Wonder Twins, to get caught up there. So that's the next on my backlog to read through. So I'll talk about those a little bit more next time if I do get caught up by then. And yeah, that's it. Let me know what you thought about all of these books by tweeting me at TIW Podcast. Go to TIWpodcast.com for more reviews. If you enjoyed this episode or anything else on the site, please share some links with your friends. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you like to listen. Stay safe out there in all of the infinite multiverses, and I'll see you next time here on TIW Podcast. Bye.